I told you I was going to do a lot of my stuff in the first half, so I'm back. And this is a late add to our event here. We're in touch with a number of different people to bring some really interesting artifacts in. And this one stumbled across through communication, and we wound up getting in touch with the gentleman you're about to meet. And it was a unique opportunity to bring a piece of very early Walt Disney World, and specifically Magic Kingdom history, here for you to see. If you don't know what I'm talking about yet, you very soon will. And he was able to bring part of it with him, and we're going to talk about the other half. So, please welcome to the stage Mr. Geoffrey Snider. So we are talking about the Swan Boat today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so for any of those youngsters in the audience didn't know, the Swan Boat was an attraction in the Magic Kingdom that used to go around the lagoon and the moat around the castle, much of which has been filled in today, and it actually went all the way over to Adventureland and around the treehouse. It had different modes of transportation in terms of propulsion, but the reason Jeff is here is he was able to purchase one of the original boats and recently reunited it with an original Swan. So we're going to talk today about your procurement of such said boat and the restoration, and we have a very special piece of it here with us today. So there it is at the Magic Kingdom. So how did you first come about landing the boat?
Well, the Swan first came through the auctions that they put on, and the Swans and the boats were actually separated, for obvious reasons.
Right.
The boat came to auction, and my uncle, King Carrico, picked the boat up. I'm in the yacht restoration business the last 40 years of restoring yachts, and actually had the privilege of seeing the Pie Wacket come to the boatyard that I do work, and that was one of Roy's things with one of the 12-meter boats that does 12-meter racing. But with the Swan, we got the Swan and we marinized it, turned it into a boat that we could use in the intercoastal, the ocean if necessary. But the boat was originally for canal use only. And of course, it was built here at Disney.
Right, and it had a couple different propulsion units. It was a battery at one point, then they went to some sort of jet system to move it around. What state was it in when you received it?
When I received the vessel, it came in under the jet propulsion that was done under battery power with an inverter to a GM motor. And it had the jet pump so it could do a 180-degree turn or a 360 and spin around in the canals and take you back into whatever location or destination you're headed for.
And here we see a boat loaded with characters. I don't know if this was a very common occurrence, though. It doesn't
yes,
look like, yeah.
That was rare that they would have all the characters. That was probably a promotional ride that they did at the time.
And the boat that you received was Snow White, I believe, right?
Correct.
That was the boat.
It's the actual Snow White, which was one of the, they had originally 12 boats. One they put into maintenance and 11 that they ran on a semi-seasonal program that they had. And of course...
And there you are.
The picture you see there is when I received the Swan. That was about in 2009. I came about finding this through Walt Dated World, who was at the time being done by Allison D., who used to be on the Mickey Mouse show.
Right.
And she was a Mouseketeer, and of course she was doing Walt Dated World. And a gentleman by the name of Bob Laurie, his father is a big collector here in the area, and they sold one to a doctor in Seattle, Washington. They called me up and said there's one left, and if you can get here and get it before it's gone. And it was tough times at that moment, but we made it happen.
That's awesome.
We put it together. We drove up that weekend, and we grabbed the last Swan that they had sitting that was in fairly decent condition compared to the rest of them that were in disarray.
So we don't know, because when you purchased the boat, it didn't have a Swan, so we don't know if it's the original Swan to the boat, but...
Correct.
Yeah.
We don't know if this one was particularly on the Snow White originally, but Of course, there's very limited swans available that are still in the condition
right.
of it's 50 years old. So
And we can see here in the photo behind us, obviously, you were doing some fiberglass repair, and you can kind of see some of the dings and dents it had received over the years.
yes,
Certainly a lot of work that you had to put into that. And there's what it looked like afterwards with the new crown and
actually,
polished up.
the crown is left original. That is the original gilding. It's the original lettering enamel that they used back in the day, which is similar to the type of enamel they use with jewelry. It stands up longer and retains its luster. That's the one thing I kept original on it. I painted the eyes a dark blue. And then as far as the rest of the bird, we completely restored it.
And then we got the boat.
Did all the gilding and,
Right.
and everything to match it back up. Now this was the boat in when we first received it. Obviously it was in disarray. It had been sitting for some time. And we completely restored the vessel. Some of the
What year was this here?
That could be back as early as 2090.
Okay.
Something of that nature. We received the boat back in '86.
Gotcha.
We did several refits. This is back recently, and from 2012 to 2018. I've been working on it sporadically in my
Right.
spare time. The logo on the back is the original logo.
Yeah, and you told me something interesting about it. Because when you received it, it was a boat in Florida. The name of the boat can transfer with the registration. And even though it is a trademark name in Snow White, you are legally allowed to keep that name on there.
Correct. That was an issue, and the lawyers got piped in when they seen the vessel out, because we used it in the intercoastal waterway. We did family picnics, family events, and things of that nature.
Right.
Our children grew up on it.
And you're probably all wondering, did we try to get the boat here? We did. But limited resources and time. He is a few hours from here. We did try to get the boat here. But as many of you may have noticed, the Swan is here. So you can certainly go over there. I know she's kind of in a dark spot. I don't have to invest in spotlights real quick, but we'll put the lights up so you guys can have a great photo opportunity. So it's a great story here. So here's where you started. You told me you had to put a keel on the boat, right? It never had a keel.
Yes, on the top picture there, the boats themselves just had a box in the back. And that was to accommodate the pumps and motors and engines. As you said earlier, the boats originally were on a trolley and were pulled around and had some mechanical issues with the guidance part of it, and that's where some of the dings and stuff came from.
Is that an original rudder, or is that you added that
No,
too?
actually, they had the jet pumps forward and aft, and that's all it was a spot pump.
Wow.
And that would allow the boat to be controlled by a joystick, by a mouseketeer. As back in those days, they ran the boat. And of course, we designed a rudder to put on the back. We put a diesel engine in it.
I think we have a photo of the engine going in. Let's see. If we move forward. Oh, we got starting the paint here.
That's
the keel.
just recently I painted the bottom to contrast back up to the new hard top that I had put on it.
And this is the decking going in with the motor covered, I believe, right?
Correct. I had pretty much pulled up the decking, reglassed the
What was
whole
in there
interior.
originally other than wood? Was it wood before, or?
It was just it was just a wooden
Oh,
floor.
it was wood. Okay.
It was just a wooden floor that they put a vinyl covering over, and it had the original wraparound seats. And of course, we built a cover in the center to cover over the engine, a three-piece, and it was also for our picnic table.
You can warm up your barbecue on there too.
Yeah, actually, we would cook up, prepare everything, and set out on the boat, and we'd have a full day out in the intercoastal and enjoy the Palm Beach County weather that we have.
Can't beat
This is
that.
a diesel engine that we were putting in, which is bigger than the original Perkins that was in it.
Do you go water skiing? That is pretty large for the size of the boat.
No, the boat is overpowered, but I'd rather have more power than not enough.
There we go. There we go. So you can have a big party on there.
And she was still in restoration when you see the tape and certain things on there. I was in the middle of painting, and I modified some of the seating on it because the center seat was like 14 feet long, and it took 3 people to lift it up and get it out of the boat. Wow. I had to make things user-friendly so when you're underway, that you can gain access to all the systems in the vessel.
So it sounds like you had a lot of work to do at first, and then you just continually iterated through over the years, adding things on and
I'm
tweaking.
Perfectionist, so I try to restore the boat and keep it back to its original design. Same with the top. We took the steel piping that was originally done and did that in aluminum to cut the weight down. As you can see, that's the top, and she was in the paint process while we were trying to fit the motor mounts for the engine because there was never that particular engine in the boat. We had to do a lot of customization to make it operate. And that's the boat in its paint process.
And what year was this here?
That would be like 2015.
Okay, so a little while ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was about 5 years ago. Now, of course,
there's the back.
I've painted around the old emblem because I don't like to lose the scrolling or any of the designs that were originally with the vessel. And the same with the Swan. I traced out all the gilding. We replaced it in the exact locations, the way that the artist had originally done it.
And do you believe, you work in boats, do you believe that the gilding and the work on that was done by hand originally? Does it look like a hand? It was all hand painted?
It was all custom work.
Wow.
Gilding is only done one way, and that is by hand.
And that's a very thin paintbrush and putting that on?
Yes. They put a sizing down. They put real 24-karat gold leaf on, and then we clear coat over the top of the gold to protect it and to give it some life and to maintain under the
For all that gold, she's pretty lightweight. So.
Yeah.
I think we have a picture of, there she is today. Look at that. And how long ago was this taken?
That picture was taken 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
I've had the boat in mothball for the last couple of years. Hurricanes come in, and so I have to make arrangements to keep her covered up, keep her protected. I keep the Swan inside that container next to it. Try to keep it protected because that's a very delicate item.
Yeah, we loaded the Swan in yesterday, and Geoffrey had to back it up, and it could only come out of the van one way, and you had about, a half-inch clearance when you closed the door?
That was it.
Just fit getting here, so we're lucky to have the Swan here. We would have loved to bring it here, get clearance, put it outside on the lake, take everybody for lake tours, kind of sneak our way into the canal. Oh, look, we're in Adventureland. How'd we get? But alas, that's not something we were able to do. But I know you are potentially interested. If there's any interested buyers, he's potentially selling the boat and or the Swan. So if anybody's out there is really interested, Shelby just made money. So maybe he just bought something from Ted. It sold something to Ted. So
the boat's it's a very original, iconic vessel, and of course there's only one left that I've never come across another hull that's had everything still with the boat. And once I got the Swan, that was the coup d'etat.
And the fact that you put the keel on it, you can actually take it out. That makes it all the more appealing because it can be used and enjoyed rather than just being a piece on the side.
We had taken it out on the ocean a few times in very calm waters in the Palm Beach County Inlet. But of course, in choppy waves. That's why I did the keel modification to it so that the boat would steer and operate correctly.
And once you marry the Swan back on, you run out of power, she'll just flap her wings and get you back to shore. So you'll be fine.
Well, we wish it was that easy.
That's right.
Throw up your sail and
that's right.
And I hope you get back to port.
So we hope that everyone here has an opportunity to get a picture with the Swan. We honestly don't know where you will ever see one again. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be this close with it. Please don't touch it, but it's over there on that big round table. Make sure you get a photo of it. Geoffrey, thank you very much for coming, bringing this unique piece of history.
Well, thank you for having us.
It's been fantastic. So,
very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.